Снова здравствуйте, меня зовут Оксана Дунина, я спецкорреспондент Digital Developer на DomClick Digital Forum, и сегодня у нас Международный день. Мы с вами поговорим с невероятным человеком Педро Мораиш, архитектор и профессор Минус University. Педро, еще раз добрый день, спасибо огромное, что вы нашли время дать нам интервью. И я хочу начать с вопроса, который интересует меня как жителя города Москвы. Москва – большой город, и многие говорят, что это город для бизнеса, это город не для жизни, потому что скорости, на которых мы живем, они просто несовместимы с комфортной жизнью. Ты постоянно куда-то бежишь, это идеальная среда для того, чтобы проводить миллион бизнес-встреч за день. Но иногда мне кажется, что я и многие мои друзья или близкие очень сильно устают от этого темпа. Как поменять городскую среду, чтобы она совмещала в себе и возможность комфортно жить, отдыхать, быть с семьей, проводить много времени и интересно, и одновременно жить вот в этом бизнес-темпе, не теряя его?
I understand. Well, I guess this is about adjusting less, like we can say, the grain of the city, the scale of the city. Because if the city is too large, it's too extended, people would necessarily have to, commute long distance and spend a long time from work to their homes and not having, comfortable services around their places. So we can adjust this or fine-tune this a bit by urban infill. This is something what I'm going to say in my talk a bit later. So how we can adjust at the same time to make denser cities, to make parts of this city more compact by, infilling more uses, and at the same time fine-tuning the mix of uses in some areas of the city in order for people to have close services, close schools, close retail, supermarkets and everything, isn't it? And at the same time, this is not just a planning issue. I guess this is, in general, a social issue too, because it's important, I guess, as urban planners and architects, if we are able to provide people with choice. I guess the worst thing in cities is when someone lives far from the city center, not by choice, but by lack of choice, isn't it? So if we can, build a society and cities and an urban world where we are able to provide people with choices, be it social, be it urban, I guess we'll have a good place to live.
Тогда уточняющий вопрос. Это все звучит прекрасно, но мы живем в реальности, когда большинство городов-миллионников, по крайней мере в России, уже сформированы, и плотность застройки такая, что мы не можем ее поменять. То есть это уже какая-то зацементированная среда, где мы не можем произвести очень серьезных изменений, если мы видим, что сценарии жизни, которые тут предполагаются, не дают комфорта. Что тогда делать в таком случае?
Well, this is probably the second point of my speak later, is that maybe instead of starting to demolish buildings, we can think about renewing buildings, or in something we call in urban planning like upzoning. Let's say, for example, the city is already built. We have some heritage buildings, but we have some other existing buildings which are not protected, heritage protected, but they are not up to be demolished. So we can renovate and maybe recap them and maybe upzone them to raise this density, this urban density a little bit, or insert new uses in order to make, a more mixed-use city. If you live in a place where you have retail on the ground floor, for example, you probably have a more lively street when you leave your place and not an empty street. So this is important too, because if we get some zones that are only business, it will probably be full of people and lively during the day, but empty during the evenings and the weekends. And on the other hand, if you have places where you just have people living, you just have housing, probably during the day could be a bit empty, a bit, melancholic. So I guess this mix of use, the overposition, the superposition of of different uses in the same areas of the city is important to happen. And just to complement, I guess all of this we're talking must come from some certain agreements or convergence of not only urban planners and architects, but the public power and the private initiative too. These three, this tripod must work together because each of these parts can contribute with a different point of view, with a different mindset to make a better city for everyone, I guess.
Мой следующий вопрос про искусственный интеллект. Я не могу его не задать. Считается, что в творческой профессии искусственный интеллект может быть только помощником, и архитектор — это, конечно, творец. Но есть ли грань, за которую мы можем зайти, чтобы AI сам стал творцом? К примеру, анализируя терабайты данных о поведении людей, о том, что им интересно, какими местами общего пользования они реально восхищаются и используют в сценариях жизни, что они игнорируют. Может ли искусственный интеллект, анализируя это, сам начать творить города, или это все-таки невозможно, и он всегда будет оставаться инструментом?
Well, from my point of view, good architecture and good urban planning comes from the first getting to the right questions, formulating the right questions, and the good architecture comes from good answers for that. And the creative part is the fun part of it, So for me, there's no much sense on letting the AI do the fun part, the creative part, because this is what we do best. But we should use it, for example, for data processing or for raising information and for manipulating information. That is the hard part, the hard work. So from my point of view, we should let the AI do the hard work, do the work intensive parts of it, and be able to do the fun part or the good part that we do best. That is being creative and at the same time maybe acting as curators. If we're able to put AI to raise hypotheses, to raise possibilities, and then afterwards be able to choose between one or another conceptually, intellectually, and involving these three parts of the process, the public initiative, the private initiative, and the professionals, we're probably going the best way. But I don't know, this changes every day, isn't it? So we're talking about today's AI, but we never know what is coming tomorrow.
Интересно, верите ли вы, что когда-нибудь появится абсолютно искусственный интеллект, AGI, который реально сможет заменять полностью людей? Это даже не про архитектуру, а в целом про то, какие возможности есть у технологий будущего? Или вы считаете, что, все-таки это останется тулзом?
Well, I guess it can take a lot of places. It can occupy a lot of places. But I really hope this comes together with a really social and human approach to that. If, for example, if you get to China, China is probably dominating AI technology and dominating robotics, as we say. But at the same time, they're trying to build a society with more than 1 billion people from a socialist point of view. So if this comes to release people from heavy work, if we get, if the only thing that generates value in the world is labor, is work, that transforms one thing that has little value to another thing that has a lot of value. But if we can put robots and if we can put AI to generate this value, and we are, as people, as a society, are able to extract this value and work less, and at the same time live well and not starve, I guess, maybe we are in a good way, I think.
Okay. Вы сказали, что для того, чтобы создавалась реально среда и для жизни, и для бизнеса, для работы, нам нужно, чтобы был диалог трехсторонний между властью, между теми, кто строит города, в том числе девелоперы, и между людьми. Но, как мы видим, в российской действительности это просто невозможно. Есть некоторый диалог между властью и девелоперами, но мнение людей абсолютно не учитывается. Есть ли где-то в мире реальные примеры, когда этот трехсторонний диалог был выстроен и был бы эффективным?
It's a good question. In Brazil, it's always hard to get these three parts together, and that not always because if we get to organize civil society, we're not talking about one entity. We're talking about a lot of stakeholders. But from the world experience I know, I see France has a good way of taking it. For example, if a new building or if a new neighborhood is going to be built, usually government first puts up a lot of architecture competitions in many levels. So for starting office to medium office to big offices, so it gives opportunity for architects in many levels to act on proposing things for the city. And at the same time, it opens a lot of options for you to choose which way to go. This is first. And also from the point of giving opportunity, giving choice for people, they also have some regulations that say if you're building something new, you must have some part of these flats, let's say, for social housing or for low-income people. You should have a part of it for average income, and you can have a part of it for higher income. So this is a way maybe not to put poor people far away from the center and commuting long hours and spending the whole lifetime they have inside of a bus or inside of a metro, and at the same time putting people together to be able not to be, let's say, isolated inside of their bubble cars, isolated from the world, and not knowing that there are many people that are different with them that share the same same environment, the same urban environment that is in the end the house of everyone, isn't it? We're getting to a very urban world. In Brazil, we have 87% of people living in cities. The whole world is, in average, it's overcoming 50%. So we're building an urban world. And this is about negotiation. If we get to the Greeks, the polis is the term that, names our cities. And at the same time, they generate the word politics. That is, living together is trying to negotiate ideas and interests and needs, isn't it? So this living together in the city is about this, I think.
И мой последний вопрос. Как у вас впечатление от форума?
Well, it's super impressive and full of people. Unfortunately, they don't have Russian English translation, so I have not been able to follow up with a lot of lectures, although all the teams that I've seen on the program are super interesting. So I'd like to follow up with this a bit closer. Maybe next year you have more people from abroad and a translation for everybody to be together, but it's wonderful. I'm super glad to be here.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.